Hey everyone, it's Mystery Girl and I'm Missy. Welcome back. Today we're doing our first true crime story, which is ongoing on Thomas Valva. Trigger warning, this is very sensitive material and is intended for audiences 18 and over. It was a cold morning when the police were called to the Center Moriches home in Long Island, New York. 8-year-old Thomas Valva froze to death as a punishment from his father for soiling his pajamas. Thomas had to sleep in an unheated garage, no blanket, no pillow, and it was 19 degrees outside. Thomas was a very sweet young boy who was on the autism spectrum. He was born September 14, 2011, and died on January 17, 2020. His father, Michael Valva, and fiance Angela Pollina were arrested in the murder of Thomas Valva. I want you to ask yourself, as a parent, what you would do if you were married to a police officer who got custody of your 3 children and you knew that they would be in danger with them. You made cries for help, you reached out to CPS, reached out on Twitter, did everything you could, the school reached out, but no one would listen. Right now I'm taking you with me through Center Moriches. I worked in Center Moriches for 6 years with special needs children, medically frail children. So when I had gotten home from work on January 17th, 2020 and turned on the 11 o'clock evening news, my stomach instantly sank when I had heard the story of 8-year-old Thomas Valva, a boy on the autism spectrum that had died. I instantly felt heartbreak for this family. I've never met the family, but an 8-year-old boy, I can't even imagine. We're going to get further into this. I'm going to start at the beginning, but I do want to remind everyone this is very sensitive material. Please, 18 and over, and if it's too sensitive for you and you need to turn the video off, I 100% understand. Also, while we're here, before we get into it, if you could hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, I would truly appreciate it. It was a freezing cold day back on January 17, 2020 in Center Moriches, Long Island, New York, when Suffolk County Police Dispatch received a call from an NYPD officer, Michael Valva, of 11 Bittersweet Lane, Center Moriches, New York. He called stating his 8-year-old son fell in the driveway while waiting for the school bus an hour before he called 911. Michael Valva indicated that his son lost consciousness after the fall and remained unconscious and was not breathing, telling police his son fell and hit his head in the driveway. Michael Valva told dispatch he was a police officer and that he doesn't know what exactly happened, that he brought Thomas in and was doing CPR at the time. In the background, you can sort of hear Michael Valva giggling during this phone call. Michael Valva states that they were now in the basement and you can hear a female talking in the background. Michael Valva states when police arrived that before they got there, he put Thomas in the shower and then got him dressed, that Thomas was freezing at that point. Just then the ambulance arrived, and as the ambulance arrived, Michael Valva was performing CPR on Thomas, and when the police arrived at 9:40, the call ended with dispatch. I'm going to play that call for you right now. And again, I want to give you a trigger warning. I want to make sure that this is 18 years and older. I'm going to keep reminding throughout this video that this is a very sensitive video.
All right, keep on doing CPR. We already sent help, okay?
Come on, 30.
All right, I'm going to hang up now. Is that all right? Do you need me for anything?
No, just please get somebody here.
Okay, we're going to get somebody right there, okay? Third number?
843.
All right, thank you.
Yep, no problem. Yep. All right, sir, I'm going to stay on with you till I get there, all right?
Okay.
What is your name?
My name is Mike Valva.
Mike, okay.
19, 20. His belly is filling up a lot as I'm doing CPR.
It's filling up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me transfer you back to rescue. All right, because they would be able to let you know if that's normal. All right. Okay.
Okay.
You can hear Michael counting, but you can also hear somebody in the background speaking, which is a woman.
You have reached the County Fire Rescue.
Just stay with me, Mike.
Dispatchers are currently processing other emergency calls. Please stay on the line.
I just didn't hear a heartbeat. I just didn't hear a heartbeat.
Do you hear a heartbeat? I couldn't hear.
County Fire
I
Rescue
wasn't
number
supposed
9.
to hear a heartbeat.
Hey, number 9. Hey, 11 Bittersweet, East Moriches. I'm on with Mike. He's a police officer, NYPD. His 8-year-old fell down, hit his head, is not breathing. CPR is in progress. He said the child's belly is filling up. He wants to know, is this normal or not? We have rescue on the way, and please, if you could assist him further, please.
Hello, sir, are you there?
Mike?
Yeah.
Mike, rescue's back on.
We have help on the way. He knows CPR. What does he need us to do?
He has some questions.
Is that normal?
What's going on?
His belly is filling up like it's filling up with air.
Well, if you're putting air into his mouth, then some of it is going to go into his belly, yes, but some of it is going to go into his lungs, too, and that's what we need. We need air going into his lungs if he's not breathing. If he vomits, you're going to have to turn him on his side. But you sure he's not breathing?
I don't know, to be honest.
They're on their way.
Do you hear him laugh?
What's going on right now?
That laugh made
Does
me
he have
so
any medical
mad.
history?
No,
Mike?
no medical history. Just autism spectrum.
Okay. Any bleeding?
Well, I mean, he cut his elbow.
What did he hit his head on? What did he fall on?
Concrete.
Concrete? It's back on the floor?
Huh?
I don't want to bother you if you're busy doing CPR, but I'm just trying to make sure we have all the information we need. He's on the floor? He's flat on his back?
He's on the sofa.
You got to get him on a hard surface on the floor.
All right, I'm moving him. We're in the basement, by the way, when they enter.
Basement? Where's the entrance?
Mike, where's the entrance? Shoes? Okay.
Door open?
Again, you hear the female in the back talking. You can hear Michael counting as he's giving CPR.
ETA?
We'll get one right now. They're on the road.
Yeah, he's not breathing.
Keep going until someone takes over or tells you to stop. They're less than a minute out, sir.
You heard the female say, "Oh my God."
You can send someone to the door to meet them.
Police are also there, Mike.
Police and ambulance have now arrived.
He fell down and banged his head. He was a little messy. I took him in the shower. He was okay. And all of a sudden, I started breathing. So I pulled him out.
We're showing that, PD.
Yeah, our unit's on scene.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna disconnect.
Ambulance just pulled up too.
Ambulance just pulled up? Okay.
What's your number?
843.
Thank you.
Thank you, 9. Bye.
If I didn't know the story behind Thomas Valva and his father, Michael Valva, I would have believed that phone call was heartfelt. But knowing what I know, being on Long Island and being in Center Moriches at that time, I know there's more to it. In front of you, you see Commissioner Hart, medical examiners, and other officials. The medical examiner said that hypothermia was a major factor in Thomas's death. Commissioner Hart said that investigators quickly determined that the injuries to Thomas's face and head were inconsistent with the timing of the events, and that the narrative that Mr. Valva gave to Suffolk Police was also inconsistent.
To Thomas Valva's family and friends, especially his siblings. We are here to discuss the arrests of Michael Valva and Angela Pollina for the death of Michael's 8-year-old son, Thomas. The couple has been charged with murder in the second degree because they engaged in conduct which created a grave risk of death to this child. Thomas Valva was subjected to freezing temperatures in the home's unheated garage overnight when the outside temperature was 19 degrees. We first responded to 11 Bittersweet Lane in Center Moriches on January the 17th at 9:40 a.m. after Michael Valva reported that his son Thomas fell in the driveway while waiting for the school bus an hour earlier. Michael indicated that his son lost consciousness after the fall, but had remained unconscious. When the officers arrived, Michael Valva was performing CPR on his son in the basement. Thomas was transported to Long Island Community Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. At the time of his arrival at the hospital, Thomas's body temperature was 76 degrees. As with any unattended death, homicide detectives conducted an investigation which revealed inconsistencies in the timing and the nature of the child's injuries as reported by his father. We have determined Thomas was never in the driveway that morning, and he suffered head and facial injuries that were not consistent with the father's account. During the past week, homicide detectives conducted a round-the-clock investigation, which included the review of video and audio recordings captured on the family's home surveillance system, both inside and outside the house. The recordings show the pair was closely monitoring the activities and conversations of their 6 children, Michael's 3 sons, ages 6, 8, and 10, and Angela's daughters, 11-year-old twins and a 6-year-old. We believe that the 10 and 8-year-old boys were subjected to punishment including food deprivation and exposure to extremely frigid temperatures. We are still investigating the extent of the abuse and if it extended to all the children. Following Thomas's death, the department notified Suffolk County CPS and assisted in the emergency removal of the other 5 children on January the 17th. The children are currently in a safe environment. I would like to thank our homicide squad for their countless hours in seeking justice for this little boy. I would also like to acknowledge and thank all the agencies that assisted us in this investigation: the New York City Police Department, the East Moriches School District, the FBI, the Department of Social Services, the Medical Examiner, and the District Attorney's Office. I'll take any questions that you might have.
That morning, Thomas was transferred to Long Island Community Hospital in Patchogue, where he was pronounced dead. His temperature was 76 degrees, 20 degrees less than it should be. Thomas also had the facial and head injuries that the commissioner just spoke about. Thomas Valva's father, Michael Valva, his story was unraveling real quick and the police caught on to it. Suffolk County Police charged Michael Valva and his fiancée, Angela Pollina, and they were both charged with second-degree murder and accused them of endangering the conduct to create a grave risk of death to this child. Suffolk County Commissioner Geraldine Hart, that you just saw, said that Thomas Valva was subject to freezing temperatures in the home of the garage overnight when the outside temperature was 19 degrees. Michael had actually discovered Thomas as he was dying. Thomas's older brother, who was also in the garage with him, did survive. Right here is Angelina Pollina, the fiancée of Michael Valva. That is the garage that Michael Valva died in and his home. Right here is Michael Valva being arrested. And this is Angela, keep calling her Angelina, Angela Pollina. And this is her being arrested. Investigators later found audio and video from the family's home surveillance system, which Valva and Polina used to use to monitor all the children. Investigators found the video taken 2 nights before Thomas died, and that shows him and his older brother shivering on the garage floor without a mattress, pillow, or even covers. The camera was labeled "Kids Room." How sickening is that? That turns my stomach. I can't even imagine how a child would feel in that situation. It was determined Thomas was never in the driveway that morning. Just to think that that poor little boy shivered himself to death with his father not helping him, leaving him there with no blankets, makes my stomach so sick. I think what bothers me most is that Thomas was forced to sleep in that garage as a punishment for soiling his pajamas. The poor child had autism, and that can't be helped sometime when you're on the spectrum. My heart just totally is so broken for this mother, which I'm going to tell you about in a few moments. This right here is Justina Valva. She divorced Michael Valva back in 2015 in Nassau County. She is the mother of Thomas and both of his brothers. She's a devoted mother. She is Polish American, and she struggled to provide for her children just like most mothers do. But with minimal support from Michael, she had to go and get a job, and she got a job as a corrections officer. At the time, she lived in a condo in Valley Stream, which at the time was being put up for foreclosure in 2018 because Michael Valva stopped paying the mortgage on it after their divorce battle. The mortgage company, though, you know, most people say bad things about mortgage companies, but this mortgage company halted the legal proceedings after learning of Thomas's tragic death, which is so heartwarming. It's not something you hear so often. Justina did a lot for her sons when her and Michael were married. She made sure that her 2 autistic sons were taken daily to Manhattan to a special school, a school that's specialized in children on the autism spectrum. She took a job as a correctional officer to make ends meet and to keep them on the same health insurance plan, and to make sure that they would not be separated, the 2 boys within the schools. she was doing everything she could for her boys. She was bringing them to behavioral psychologists and, their regular pediatrician visits. She was always playing with her children. And when you hear her speak about her children, you can just hear the love in this mother's voice and the heartbreak of how hard she fought the courts because she knew her children were in trouble and not one person would listen. The school listened, but when you turn to CPS, Child Protective Services, nobody would listen. The judges would not listen. It's horrible. I can't even imagine what this mom went through for the last couple of years, constantly worrying about her boys. The doctors that Justyna took her boys to, the psychologist and, primary doctor, they have nothing but great things to say about Justyna, stating, and this is a quote from one of the doctors, that she is one of the most loving, caring, dedicated mothers I have ever met. And from the pediatrician, the same thing. And fighting and fighting and fighting with no one listening, and it resulted in the death of her son. Why didn't Justyna, Thomas's mom, have custody of her 3 boys? Well, Michael Valva gained full custody of the boys in 2017. Justyna, knowing that her ex-husband Michael may be well connected as an officer and protected and favored by the system, supposedly when she was asked to have a required psychological evaluation by the judge and a family court in the setting, to permit her to have the custody, Justyna refused this evaluation unless it was on videotape. She wanted the protection. She wanted to make sure that it was on video so nobody could say that something else was said that wasn't said. As a result of that, they did not award her custody. She wanted it videoed, like I said, because she wanted her own protection. She had no problem being evaluated, but not behind closed doors out of fear that the truthful information would not be given. Justyna wanted it videoed to protect herself. Some believe that perhaps the judge thought by moving the children in with Michael, it would convince Justyna to do the psychological exam without it being videoed. I don't know why or what the big deal was that they wouldn't video the psychological exam, but they wouldn't. It also later came out, Justyna later said that Michael falsely accused her of abuse of her older and younger son, and Justyna was given back temporary custody of the older and the younger son after their father's arrest. They found the accusations that were made by Michael and Angela to be false of Justyna causing any harm to any of the boys. The judge even barred Justyna from any contact with the children after listening to the spoken unsubstantial claims from Michael Valva's lawyer and attorney appointed to represent the boys regarding Justyna having a psychological exam. So all of this, her having custody and her boys being placed in danger, was because she was afraid and wanted to protect her and her boys right from the beginning. And as a result, poor Thomas is no longer with us. This decision was made without any formal court filing accusations of wrongdoing against Justyna in any way, but because she wanted the psychological evaluation for her and the kids both to be videotaped for not only her protection, but their protection as well. A month later, Justyna obtained an attorney after losing custody of the boys, who briefly represented her to try to get the decision reversed, but it did not happen. A previous divorce judge had barred Michael Valva from overnight visits after reviewing hundreds of evidence files given by Justina documenting disturbing behavior by Michael Valva, including Valva taking photos of his private parts and sending them to other women while he was putting his own kids to bed. And they were watching these videos. I mean, come on, what's wrong with this judge? Justina documented everything, documentation after documentation, and she presented it. And she also included audio of Valva and Polina when the boys lived with Valva and Polina, coaching the boys to speak badly of Justina. The judge in the custody case in September of 2017 put aside Justina's concerns, saying, and I quote, "Until my orders are obeyed, I cannot listen to all of this stuff. I am certainly, and certain cannot read whatever it is that you wrote." This from the September court transcript. She also condemned the refusing to drop her boys where someone being SA during visits with her dad. So this judge would not listen to SA complaints from the mom at all because Justina would not have a psychological evaluation done without it being videotaped. Justina fought for the custody of her 3 boys, representing herself even against her NYPD ex-husband and his legal team, losing full custody to Michael Valva on September 6, 2017. Valva's attorney claimed Justina did not comply with any of the orders as far as meeting with attorneys for the children, the order with respect to the forensic, and that she was disconnected from reality. Valva's attorney insisted her client would provide a loving home, saying, quote, "They will be safe with Michael Valva in his home." 2 years later, and numerous calls for help, Thomas would now be dead, with his father allegedly taunting his son. This just makes me absolutely sick even to say it, but he taunted his son for being cold. He died from hours of sleeping on the concrete floor in the unheated garage when it was 19 degrees outside. But yet the dog was inside in a warm home. Before Thomas passed away, Justina stated numerous times Michael had custody and she was worried about her children. She couldn't have said it anymore. She cried out so much. She cried out on Twitter. She cried out to CPS. This poor woman tried everything and not once. Nobody listened to her. She didn't know what else to do. On February 13th of 2020, after Thomas's passing, Justina won temporary custody of her surviving sons. That's Michael Valva right there in court in the blue shirt. For over 3 years, Justina documented, and like I said, she posted these videos and audio recordings on Twitter, and I will play those for you. I'm thinking this is going to be a 2-part video. It's starting to get a little long, but I don't want to leave anything out. Again, if you're liking this video, please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. This way you do know when part 2 does come on. Justina claimed that the kids were brainwashed by Michael to say, "Mommy hit me." This would later be proven on audio. You can actually hear Michael saying it and then telling the kids to repeat it. What kind of father does this? That's what I want to know. He doesn't even turn and look. Oh, finally he does, with a little smirk on his face. Justina sounded many alarms. She claimed that the children were starved and they were looking for food on the classroom floor, in the garbage cans when they went to school, and that they were even wearing diapers when they were sent to school. This was actually backed up by the school. She repeatedly sounded alarms, CPS. It didn't matter. Anybody that would listen that might help her, she let them know. After Thomas's death, Justina claimed that after 7 months in her care, the children opened up about SA and CP, as well as trafficking. And we're going to get into that in a few minutes. Okay, I want to first, before we move forward, I want to tell you there's a trigger warning. We are moving into very sensitive material. And I believe right after we finish Thomas's mom is when we'll end this video, and maybe within the next 2 days I will have the second part done. Justina Valva claims, "My children," quote, "after 7 months being under my care, started to finally open up and made significant disclosures about their SA, CP, CE, and trafficking." Thomas's older brother told their therapist that Valva and Polina took both him and Thomas to several Long Island homes, quote, exposing the children to satanic rituals. When the boys would arrive, the boys were put into metal cages with no clothes on. Justina says they were SA with metal spikes and other objects. She states her oldest son stated that the boys could not walk after returning home. She added this abuse was on cameras that the adults referred to, and that both Valva and Polina were connected to those cameras. How sickening is that? This man and this woman both need to be put away forever. Justina also stated that the boys were taken to a funeral home one night with evil clowns, saying, quote, her older son and Thomas were chained inside cages where they were beside statues of Satan, and that their bodies were wrapped in white sticky tape material. What Michael Valva and Angela Pollina did to the 3 boys is unbelievable, mostly to the 2 that were on the autism spectrum. My heart breaks for these children and how nobody would do anything, and that Michael thought he'd get away with it because he was a cop. Well, there's more to come. But this video, like I said, has gotten really long. And in the next video, I'll make a part 2, which we will cover Michael Valva. We will cover Angela Pollina. We will cover the housekeeper, the nanny, and where this case stands today, as it repeatedly gets put on hold because of COVID. As of May 25th of 2022, they were finally supposed to select a jury. I have not seen any updates on it, but believe me, as soon as I see any updates after finishing these videos, I will definitely keep you informed of what is going on with the case for Thomas Valva. So to end on Justyna, she has custody now of her 2 surviving sons. She was awarded custody at the emergency hearing following the death of Thomas. She did tell CBS News, quote, I miss him so much. Thomas was my little angel, my 8-year-old boy, my baby, who was always joyful, always stands for the truth, plays with his cars, reads his books, and tells the truth. He loves songs. And, quote, Justina added, her son's death, quote, is not going to be in vain, end quote. So I'm going to end it here. Part 2 will be coming. I am again going to apologize if my voice has been shaky. This is only my second video, so I really appreciate everybody that stood with me, came through the whole video. Like I said, I know it's a long one, so I do want to continue to make it into a second, and I promise you it will be worthwhile to find out the rest of the story. I ask you to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and just remember, every day is a mystery. I'll see you guys on part 2. Take care.